Hello guys, Jared here again, and I'm going to do a movie review today. And I'd just like to say, later on today, I'm going to be going to the dentist to get the last three sets of the aligners for my teeth. Yeah, I'm on 20 at the moment, so I'll go on to 21 today. Yeah, and I'll have the next two sets for after, that. So I'm getting those last three sets today. So today I'm going to review the new Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio, which I've just watched on Netflix. Now, this is not to be confused with the recent Disney live action remake, which I haven't seen. I have no interest in that remake, to be honest. I mean, I do like the animated Disney film from the 40s, and I do know there was also the same year another Pinocchio. There was like a shitty looking Russian animated Pinocchio, which became a huge meme because of how bad it looked like. Like, the father, when can I leave to be on my own? But today I'm reviewing a good one, the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio on Netflix. This is done with stop motion, and I think the animation really looks great, and I think it is fitting, with it being about a puppet, since stop motion is a kind of puppetry, and it's really beautifully done, the animation, and it's a really beautifully told story. Really, I mean, it adds more to the story. It being set, it's not the setting is updated a bit, but it's set during the time of Benito Mussolini ruling over India, not India, Italy. And you do have at first, you see, Geppetto had another son before, a human son called Carlo, which I think is named after Carlo, the author of the original Pinocchio story was called Carlo, and his son dies, which is a very sad thing. I mean, it was really, it showed a really lovely bond at the beginning, and I was kind of I knew it was coming, that he was going to die somehow, because I knew that would be why he would build Pinocchio. But I was really kind of dreading how he was going to die. I mean, it was done well. Don't get me wrong, but I was kind of I was dreading it, because I mean I knew it was going to be a very sad moment, and I mean it was done very, very well. And the Pinocchio design in it is a lot more simple than usual. But I think it makes sense, since in this Geppetto kind of makes him when he's drunk and makes him in a rush, you know. Um, and you do have the usual lesson that Pinocchio teaches, which is that Pinocchio learns not to trust these bad characters. You do have that in it, and but you also have a new sort of thing where Geppetto at first, he has a grudge with Pinocchio because he wants him to be like Carlo, his other son. But he learns to, it's hard for him to let go of that, and he has to accept Pinocchio for who he is, and really comes to love him. Which that was a really nice thing they added to the story. And a common criticism I've heard with the live-action Disney remake is that it misses the whole point of the message of the story. This one still has, the message of the original story, but it adds more to it. And you do have the bad guy. And I should say, Geppetto is voiced by the actor David Bradley. He does a great job, and I know the bad guy is by Christoph Waltz. He's kind of a combination of the character of Honest John and Stromboli from the original. I mean, at least those are the characters' names in the Disney version. They did a good job at combining those characters together. And he has a sidekick who's a monkey, who's weirdly voiced by Kate Blanchett. Who, kind of a funny story of why she's in it is because she worked with Guillermo del Toro on Nightmare Alley, and she wanted a role in Pinocchio, and the monkey was the only role that wasn't taken. So yeah, but I think the villain is who's voiced by Christoph Waltz. His character's name is the Italian word for fox, because he's meant to be like Honest John from the original. But they made him a human instead of a fox, which fits the story better. And I've heard a criticism with the live action Disney remake is that him being a fox doesn't really make sense in a live action context. This film understood that it would be probably better to make him a human. And keep in mind, this film is still animated, but it still is maybe a more realistic version, so it would make more sense for him to be a human. Yeah. And you do also have, you have the blue fairy. You have two like blue fairies. One of them is like the one who gives Pinocchio life, and the other one is the one where Pinocchio sees whenever he dies, he can die and then come back to life. But when he dies, he sees the other blue fairy who's the sister of the one who gave him life, and they're both voiced by Tilda Swinton. And that's very cool. And some other characters they changed the names of. Jiminy Cricket is now called Sebastian instead. I don't know what the character's name was in the original story. I know, like, in the Disney version, his name's Jiminy. I know in the original story, Pinocchio actually kills him early on. So I imagine he maybe doesn't even have a name in the original story. But I know Jiminy is the name in the Disney version, and the character of Lampwick in this instead is called Candlewick. Kind of a similar name. I don't know what the character's called in the book, but yeah, Lampwick, Candlewick, kind of a similar name, but yeah, they're basically the same character, and you do have Ewan McGregor as Sebastian J. Cricket, and he does really good, and he's also like the narrator as well as it's Sebastian narrating the story, and I think that's a really great way to do it, and his voice is really great for the narration and great for the character in general. So I would highly recommend checking out this film on Netflix. I really did love this film. It's a really just beautiful film, and thanks for watching my review, and bye.